So today we are, okay, so my last couple videos, I think I got confused on the different parts I was doing. Oopsies. But this one's going to be part 8, and we're going to do the neck here. So we're going to get started, and we're actually going to get started with we can do a white base, and we're also going to probably also put down on top of that our Derwent colorless blender. So this whole area right here is kind of out of focus. So it'll be kind of a nice, fun, easy, I don't want to say easy, but you guys know what I mean. Like there's not really a whole lot of detail. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a white layer on. This is so that we can go in and gently kind of fluff out the top layer afterwards. If we need to take anything off, we can. We will have the ability to do that. It's also out of focus too, and this white will kind of help give us more of a creamy color. And now the ones that have kind of more of a highlighty area, I'm going to put my colorless blender on top of that. Okay, now we got our paper set. I'm going to start with our lightest color that I can see, and it should be our light blue, and it has disappeared. Oh, I found it. Things always disappear. You know, I have like a really nice little drawer for all my colored pencils, and then once I get everything out that I need for them, uh, they just end up all over my desk while I'm working on the project. Because, you know, when you come back and sit down, you don't want to keep having to go through the drawer. But like when I'm done with the project, I try to put everything back, so then when I start a new one, I know where like the colors would be. So that's what I do. So he has little hairs that are kind of wisping. He seems really fuzzy. So we're gonna kind of help wisp some of his hairs. Wisp, wisp. And then he does have this shadow coming across right here, so we will be getting to that as well. Wisp, wisp, wisp. He has a little highlight coming down this way. And then he has another one about right there, and then the shadow comes in. Okay, our next color looks like it's going to be our cream color. And we will go ahead and gently add that in as well. As it gets closer this way, the hairs are coming more down, so you'll see them kind of go like this, if that makes sense. Like choo, choo, choo. Now, all what we're doing right now is helping our hairs, basically our highlights, come through when we put in our darker details. It's making sure that you got your highlight base in first, and then your details can go around that. And plus, since like, you know, this is just The paper I use is Strathmore mixed media paper, and I like it because if I feel like if I want to add any kind of watercolor to things, I can. But this, what I'm doing right here, is just color pencil. I don't have any watercolor on it. There are some drawings that I do add like a base watercolor, but I have found that with this, if I add too much watercolor, the paper kind of bends, and but now I have all this paper to go through, so now I'm trying to do as many colored pencil projects on it, or even pen and ink, or even like smaller ones. But then I went back and got watercolor paper. But no, it's okay. It's all cool. I, I wanted paper anyway. That's just what I keep telling myself. So I am looking for my gold color, which is somewhere over the rainbow. Oh, there it is. Okay. Got you. Okay, now this is where. So it's really fuzzy up here. We get to just. And his little hairs are sticking up from his neck. Just very light. And I'm working from outside of his neck to the base. So basically all these little hairs that I see kind of sticking off of him, they have a darker light to them at the very tip than they do when they actually touch the base. So to kind of get that effect, once you kind of lay down your pencil to begin with and swish, swish, your hand usually gets lighter at the end of the swish. So if you start up away from where you want to end and swish down, you'll get a nice little dark at the top, but then really light towards the bottom, and it kind of tricks the eye a little bit. We're not gonna add too many, just enough to kind of give the illusion. And plus, there are other colors that we're gonna kind of add in there too, but that's the start. Okay. And since we added that white and the base blender on, it's gonna help make all this very soft as well. You still want to be careful, you still want to leave some spaces open for your highlighted areas to make kind of like that fur effect. Right now, I am basically trying to get the direction, and I'm trying not to make all my furs the same length on my little hairs. And sometimes there's like clumps, and you can kind of make a little clump, work around your little clump, just like make a clump of hair. A little clump, so like your little clump is going to probably make like a little triangle at the very bottom. Like it comes to a little point, and then you just leave it. And then as you continue to work around it, that little piece will begin, like it'll help you visually, so that when you do your darker details, oh, okay, I need to make this prominent here, or I need to add just a little bit here and then leave it alone, stuff like that. So I'm starting to get the base of his hair in there. Now I'm coming and doing kind of like another row of hair. This one's a little bit darker, and it seems to really take a nice little curve right here. And he has these little wrinkles right here. Let's see if I can gently add those in. He's got one about right there. And then his next one is about right there. So I'm adding that in as like a place marker because he also has some different actually detail right there. So this part, so kind of where my pencil's laying right now, this part, whoop, right down through here is his leg, and then he has like his shoulder and his neck kind of creasing up right here. So this is still part of his neck, but it's a bit more in focus. So we're going to do that after we get this done. All right, I see some more color here. And that's kind of about it for the gold. Now I would like to go ahead and add some specks of my peach color in there. Not everywhere, but just enough. It's a little bit darker through there because that has the shadow, so I'm not quite worried about adding too much in there. Actually, kind of would like a little bit more, and that'll help me visualize that shadow a bit better. Okay. Our next color that we're going to use, if I can find it, oh, here it is our burnt sienna. And it actually doesn't look too bad, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to softly add in a little bit more detail, a little bit more color, especially maybe a little bit to these ones on the outside. The ones on the outside, to kind of make them look blurry, we're probably going to take a little bit of solvent or my little blending stump and help blend those out just a little bit. Or we'll take our colorless blender and kind of help smear them. So now we're starting to get more and more color on this side of the neck. And I remember I have like a little clump down here somewhere. So I know to keep an eye out for it. Nice little clump. Gonna go ahead and gently add this little crease, a little bit more in there. And those creases that we made earlier. I guess it's the shadow for the crease because uh, you can really only tell that there's a crease there because of the highlight. Now we're starting to form some fur. Finishing up just a little bit down here. The base. Alright, now we're getting our really good road map in there. Alright, next color I want to use is MIA. Where did they go? I set them all down in the same place. Oh, there it is. Right in the same place where I left it. I'm just... Oh my goodness. Alright, now this color I really only see more in the shadowy area. So this is probably where we're going to add it. And the shadow area is like right there. So there's just a couple things that are darker right through here. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. The color I am using, oh, don't mind me, is a Sierra brown. Whew. Pencils are just flying everywhere. I do have a tendency to sometimes drop my pencils. Don't mean to, but I do. You can see how our clumps that we made are helping us make some defined hairs down here. You can see a bit more detail down towards the base of the neck than the top of it, but all of this will still be more or less kind of blended a bit together to give that blurry look. So you don't have to go too crazy with your details. Just enough. It's like add that color in there and then blend it out. And then if you need more, then add more. Alright, I think I would like to add... Ooh, because this is a different kind of color than the face. Oh my gosh, I dropped the same pencil. I'm not even going to use you. Come here. I think I'm actually going to add some of my pumpkin color. Yee! Okay, this is like one of my favorite colors. So what I'm doing is I'm adding on top. So I have all of my colors underneath, and this is just doing like a little glaze over. This is going to help get closer to the color that I want. And again, you don't always have to be 110% exact color like the picture, but if you want a realistic drawing, taking just a little extra time and getting, you're probably going to hear everybody say this, get your values right, get this and this and this right. Find something that works for you, and whatever colors you see on that picture and you put down on your drawing, just be consistent and have fun and enjoy it. Because when you stop enjoying it, you're not making art. So like today, it's towards, I mean, it's like in the evening. I mean, it's like 7:30 in the evening, and I chose to do this other than chilling in my bed and playing some video games, which sometimes I do when I don't feel like coloring or reading, actually. Actually, I need to read a book that I just got at a horse event, and I would like to, just like a cute little book, like to read it. Of course, it's about horses, but sometimes I don't feel like reading because I got a lot on my mind, and I know when I start reading, I'll get really into the book, and then I'll forget about everything, and I guess there's like, I have that little fear of forgetting things, um, but then I know when I get focused on it, then I'll feel good. Like afterwards, I feel good. Like, man, I read like 3 chapters. I feel pretty good. And there goes my dog. I apologize. I feel like I can't almost go through one video, even at this late at night, without something going on. And it's okay. He's just excited somebody's home. Though, he didn't used to do that when he was younger. I trained him to like be really quiet, and there were others in the house that decided to do the opposite of my training. But it's okay. We're alive. Anyway, other than that, oh, okay, so we're really starting to see this neck come along. Very excited. All right, the next color is probably going to be something that you guys won't see coming. It is going to be of an orange color, and I don't know which one. I don't know if I want to use pale vermilion. What does this look like? Oh, that is orange. That's too yellow. Oh my. Okay, I'm going to look through my stash of colors. What is this one? Spanish orange. Still too... I love my Prismacolors, but sometimes they're very bright. Ooh. What is this one? This one is just orange. Yeah, I can kind of see it. Okay, so we'll add a little bit of this on there, very, 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 very lightly. And then maybe we'll go over a little bit with our gold color and a little bit more burnt sienna. Okay, hold on. Let me zoom out on my picture here. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, it does. No, he does look orange. So, we are going to add just a little bit, just very lightly. And we'll start to see a change as I go along with this orange. Don't forget, we have that base underneath too. So if we think it's too much, we can always kind of take back a little bit since we did prepare that. It goes all the way up here. Ooh, that the color's starting to come along, and I almost didn't have any words to say. It's making me trip up on my own words. I just think it's so cool when you get all these colors on and it's captivating. It is. Okay, I've got a little bit of orange on there. Going with my gold just a little bit. I'm gonna start down here. Give us a nice little gold color. Will help kind of add some shadows in there. Ooh, starting to come along. I'm so excited. All right, and now we're gonna go on top with our burnt sienna again. So right now I'm trying to define those spaces in between the lighter hairs. And I've kind of laid that out with the darker colors that I used just before this, before I started laying down the burnt sienna, uh, with the gold. We're starting to see that come together. Do do do. And it is actually kind of dark right here, like he's got like a little shadow. All right, awesome. Now, I don't think I want to take my Tuscan. Ooh, okay, maybe I want to take my Tuscan red. Sorry, I'm testing it at the top, and I think that's the color I want. Okay, so I either want that. This is dark purple. I want that. It's a little too purpley for this. And then what's my other one? My black raspberry. I did have a raisin color. Where's my raisin color? There you are. I think you were very similar to something, but I can't remember what it was. I think you were very similar to this black raspberry color. Oh, maybe not. Never mind. Ooh. Interesting. I think I'm gonna go with my Tuscan red. That is what I have, that feeling where it's like, what color should I go with? And I think it should be the Tuscan red. Alright, so we're gonna find our darkest areas. So the darkest area is right across here with that shadow. So we're going to add this in, not everywhere, but just enough. And it'll help give us that effect. The shadow is like kind of right there visually as well. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, there's something dark right there. Alright, so we got that laid out. I'm going to take my purple, my Parma Violet. I love this color. And we're going to gently add this in. Why are you using purple? So purple is one of a color you can use for shades. Instead of like doing black or gray, there are other colors in shades, especially if you have more of a white colored horse. So there's, he has some kind of like white showing through here. So that's where we're getting, I think they're like little baby white hairs. He'll probably grow out of them when he gets older. But right now, they are causing his shadow. So, not causing his shadow. The baby white hairs have the purpley, which is the shadow, if that helps. I hope that helps. I hope that I explained it okay. And no, he's not going to stay purple because we are going to blend some of this out. I'm basically kind of doing a glaze over with this color, my little purple I have in my hand. And it will give us a little bit of a shadow. And it's going to be very similar to what we did over here, because we did use this color over here too. So that's, like I said this earlier in the video, I'm afraid to put my colored pencils back when I'm working with a current project because there are some colors I don't want to accidentally mix up and use a different one, it's a different shade, the whole shebang. Alright, now I'm going to take my light umber, we're going to do another glaze over this as well. This light umber is your kind of orange shadow. And then we'll actually probably take orange, a different kind of orange, a pumpkin orange that we used earlier over it again. But now we can see that shadow's coming in. And follow the hair. Shadows, you don't just with your pencil, you know, don't go back and forth with the pencil. Don't go like this, it'll mess up your hairs that you got going on. Now, if your technique involves that and you do like some kind of mineral spirits or something and then you go back over it and that's kind of like your shadow or something, that's cool, that's great. I don't do that. It kind of scares me that, because like especially for this, now if you have paper that can take the mineral spirits and then you can still put stuff on top after you get the mineral spirits on and off as well, go for it. I have yet to get, because I got to go through all my paper I bought. I'm not buying any more paper until I get rid of, until I use all of the paper I have. So I try not to be wasteful. Other than, though, I do have like 3 different sets of colored pencils, and I almost bought me a different brand the other day just because I wanted to try it, and I was like, no, use the ones you got, and then once you get low, then you can try a different brand. And I was like, okay, self-control. Trying very hard, self-control. Alright, but now we see we have a shadow, nice little shadow. Alright, I'm gonna go back in with my pinky color. This is my peach color. And this is kind of going to help with those highlights. So it's also going to blend some of the stuff that we just put on, but also give our shadow highlight. So remember I added it earlier. This is just going to further help. So sometimes you can reuse the colors that you use to help blend other colors together. If you don't want to use the colorless blender, because there's not really a color to it, it should just be wax, but to some people there is some kind of color to it. It's like a, because it's not like liquid clear, if that makes sense. It's like it's a wax clear. So if you've ever seen quote unquote clear wax or undyed wax, that's what it is. Nothing too special. Okay. Alright, I'm thinking. Now that I got everything on, I think I am going to take my mineral spirits. Now, I did this right so that when I do my mineral spirits, I should be able just to lay it on and then we should be good to go. So I gotta find a good brush. The brush that I have been using for my, I think I've been using a different one, but I kind of like this one we can use this one. You also just have to be careful what kind of brush you use. Some brushes are shorter, or like ones are like really small and they're really detailed, and like you just want to blend like this itty bitty little area. I always, so I take my brush and I wipe it off on the side. You can use a paper towel. I have excess paper, so that's what I do. And then I start with the top because that's the lightest area. You can go either way. It's not going to matter. But this is going to make it very nice and soft. And I try to hold it towards like the end. Usually if I'm doing like really rough detail, I'm like holding like this and I'm like, it's like get in there, get fuzzy. But this, I want to be nice and soft. Because I still want some of those highlights in there, some of the areas to show that white, and I don't want that white to be gone. And don't forget, we still have that stuff underneath, so it is going to slowly kind of mix in with that if we get to that point, if we use a lot. Ooh, the orange is starting to come through, see? Now this will dry lighter, so I'll probably have to take a short break and then I will come back. But of course, you guys won't have to take the break. It'll just poof, go on to the next part. So, okay, so this is where, so remember I used that Tuscan red earlier? So that red color is going to come through and we're going to have to go back in with more of a brown color and gently go on top of that. As you can see, we're still getting a very soft, soft. Okay, so I got more, I'm kind of basically wiping off the tips of my brush. Going back to the edge of my brush, using the very tip. Gently blending downwards. So if you don't feel comfortable using Minter's birds, you don't have to. Like I said, there's you can use like a little blending stump. You can use the colorless blender, or you can just continue to layer and layer and layer and layer and layer and layer and layer to your heart's content. Alright, now I did not put too much on there, so this should dry in just a minute, probably even less. Whew, just fan it out real fast. So we're going to look for our next color that we're going to use. I think I would definitely like to use this color, and I am talking my way through to find, oh, I found it, okay. It is a pumpkin orange on the soft core from the Prismacolor Premiere. I think I am going, I don't know if I really want to sharpen it or not. We're going to do it anyway. Alright. Adding it just in spots, kind of giving it that illusion that some hairs are this color and some hairs are a different color. Now I'm going to continue this, go down this way, because I still want it to appear that this is a shadow, and it's just like the hairs are just a continuation, they're simply just a shadow over them. I'm doing a little glaze down here. So I'm using more of the side of my pencil. And he has a nice little patch that comes down this way. Alright, I'm gonna take my gold color and, oh my, basically going to add a little visual stopping point for his hairs on the outside of his neck here, or I guess the top of his neck. And some of them are pink. I think I actually might take very lightly this pink color. Gently add some kind of stop point to his fuzzies. Now, it might be hard to see on there, but in person I can tell that there is a stop point. And he has his little fuzzies. Adding our peach color back on top of our little highlights that we had earlier in this little shadowy area. Try to keep that all the same. Sorry, my ear itches. Okay, and giving a little sharpen to our light umber. I think that's going to go well on top of our Tuscan red that we have down. Making a cute little extra there on the side. Adding little touches down there. Alright, down over here, I'm actually going to add a little bit of gold. And a little bit of our burnt sienna. Put a little bit more light umber around. And then there's kind of our illusion of a little fold there. Actually, I think I'm going to grab our pumpkin orange, but the hardcore I'm using it to help blend in the colors that I have there. Now I'm adding in some of those darker areas that I see on top into our furs with our pumpkin orange. Starting to look pretty good. Now I'm going to use this gold color and go on top again. Now I'm still avoiding some of the areas. This is just giving us kind of a more even blend. Some of these little hairs kind of come out there. There we go. I'll blend that down into the shadow. Okay. I think I would like to take my... Oh, where is that one color? It was like purple and violet, blue violet. No, actually I think I'm going to take that sepia color. Do I have it in my hand? Yes, I do. And then just remember, this is kind of out of focus, so we don't have to worry too much about being too crazy with our detail, yeah? Alright, I think I'm ready to try our Tuscan red very gently over this area. Now this is where I would say at this point it's okay to gently pick a direction, and I'm just barely lightly going over this. Can gently go up and down. Now I'm just using the kind of the side of my pencil. And I just want to make a little bit of a darker shadow, very lightly, going over that. Okay, now I feel confident that we have enough layers on underneath that I can add in this blue violet. And then we'll probably use that purple color and help blend some of this all together. Because if I take my mineral spirits, we'll get some funky colors. So, and how do I know that? Just from trial and error on other pieces that I've worked on. When you add all these different colors in, even though they are sitting on top, once you use those mineral spirits, it does break them up, and you might not get the same color that you see on your paper that you want. And it's very challenging to get that same color back. Ta-da! Alright, um, that little area. Not done, but I think I could actually add, because all it is just a couple little hairs. Alright, well, I thought it was just a couple little hairs. Oh, there it goes. More of a gold color. Basically trying to help make it distinguish between his little cheek here. And sometimes adding a little extra goes a long way. A little extra shadows. Just helps the viewer so that they can see, like, oh, okay, I can see what that's supposed to be. Alright. Where is that bubble? There it is. Alright, I'm gonna go in with my beige color. Whoa! Pencils are flying. This is my last color. I believe I'm going to add onto this little guy. Do his neck. This is just making everything nice and soft. Dun da da da. See if I can get a little bit. Whoop, I just dropped my phone. Alright, scoot over pencils. We gotta put this thing back into focus. It is in focus. Ish. Focus-ish? Let's see. Okay. We can see that the shadow will continue. Ooh. Okay. It looks... My camera does not pick this up very well, but from what my camera can pick up, those are not that prominent. And actually, it kind of makes me want to go in with my little Belinda stomp stomp and do a little bit. It's like, chill out. There we go. It's a little bit more chill. So calm down. You don't gotta be that crazy. Alright, so yay! We got that side in. Where is my... Ooh. I wanted to add a little bit of more of a contrast to some of these little furs he's got going on. I want it to make it look like they was sticking up. Gonna take my white. I know you guys can't probably see it a whole lot what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but not sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. Alright. Try to see if I can get my camera in a little bit better position. And this little guy's coming right along. So he does have this shadow coming right across here. And then it kind of, I don't want to say skips, but I gotta work a little bit more in this area. And then comes across the nose. And I'm not quite done darkening up the nose yet either. I'm kind of trying to get everything on so that I don't go too dark too fast, and then I can't lighten everything up or get everything as dark as I want it to be. Alright, so the next video we will probably do this area right here, and then we will work on the leg. The leg will probably take a second because you can see quite a bit of detail, not a whole lot, but we'll go with it. Alright, well, thanks guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on part 9. This is part 8. So, thanks guys. I'm gonna go to bed. Have a good night, guys. Bye!